Hey everyone, my name is Josh Kramer and welcome to this intro level yoga and yin inspired class. This is the perfect session if you are new to yoga or if you're just looking for a really relaxing session to wind down and completely melt onto your yoga mat. This particular class is so special because it's featuring music from the pianist and composer Chad Lawson. His music is so relaxing and it complements a yin yoga class so perfectly. It'll really help carry you into a much deeper state of relaxation. So enjoy that music. I'll include a link in the description if you want to look them up after this. For now, you'll need as many yoga props as you can find around the house, a blanket, a couple of yoga blocks, and a strap, and any other pillows or things that you need to make yourself comfortable. So go ahead and find those and we'll get started right here on our mats. Let's start in our first pose of the day, Supta Baddha Konasana. Place the soles of your feet together and create a wide diamond shape with your legs. Gently lie yourself down onto your back and find a comfortable reclined position. So Supta Baddha Konasana is a great way to start your yoga class, to unwind, release any tension, and bring yourself into a deep state of relaxation. From here, press the soles of your feet together. Make sure your feet are evenly together. Your toes are touching, your heels are evenly pressed together. And let the weight of gravity draw your knees down towards the mat. From here, think about your low back and sacrum. Release any tension, give your hips a wiggle from side to side. And now think about your shoulders and your chest. Gently lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Draw your shoulders down towards the mat. And slightly draw your chin towards your chest to help lengthen the back of your neck. That'll help you receive air into your lungs without constricting your throat too much. And lastly, your palms face up towards the ceiling. And for the next couple minutes, we'll just be here. Quieten the mind, quieten the body. Focus on your breath. Lengthen the inhales and slow the exhales. See if you can completely remove yourself from the distractions of the outside world and draw your awareness towards the sensations of your body. What are you feeling right now? Any stretching sensations? Any feelings of discomfort? It's important to acknowledge the good with the bad. Think about them. And then notice if you can let go. Focus on your breath. We'll be here for about 3 more deep, slow, controlled breaths. When you're ready, open your eyes and gently draw your knees together. You might feel a bit of sensitivity as you do that. Place the soles of your feet on your mat and let your knees roll side to side, windshield wiper, to release any tension here. And lastly, gently roll yourself up and come into a seated position. From here, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And on an exhale, we'll twist to the right. So bring your left hand to your right knee. Exhale, twist on over to the right. Keep moving the crown of your head up so that your spine is nice and long. Stay here, take a deep inhale. Exhale, twist some more. Draw your right shoulder back. And inhale through center, reach your arms up. Nice long spine. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Stay here, take a deep inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Let's do that one more time on each side. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the opposite direction. Stay here, lift your chest, inhale. Exhale, twist deeper. Think of wringing out your spine. Inhale through center. Reach up through your hands. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, twist into the full depth of your twist. And inhale through center. Release your hands down to your knees. Make your way over onto your hands and knees. Find a tabletop position. So have your hands about shoulder width apart. Your shoulders are directly above your wrists and your hips are directly above your knees. From here, moving into some cat-cows to really wake up the spine, wake up your core. Inhale, arch your back, gaze forward. And exhale, round it out. Dome your upper back, round your spine. Exhale with some sound. Inhale, arch your back, gaze forward. Feel into your body as you move through these. Exhale, round it out. Make your way through a few more rounds of that. Inhale, arch your back, gaze forward. You can shift forwards and back if that feels good. Exhale, round it out. I want you to move in a way that feels good and natural to you. If you feel the need to twist side to side, by all means do that. This class is about you exploring your body and doing what you need to relax and to feel good. And inhale one last time. Exhale, round it out. Nice work. Come to a neutral spine. From here, let's step our way up to the front of the mat and we'll make our way through a few rounds of sun salutations. For the first couple of rounds, I'll instruct you through them, but then from there, I just want you to flow and move. Move slowly, move in a way that feels good to you, and just get lost in the movement. Bring your hands into your heart center, and inhale, reach your arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. On an exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. If you need to, you can have your hands on your shin here. On an inhale, slide your fingertips up your shins, straighten your spine. And on an exhale, plant your hands and step back to the top of a plank pose. From plank, if you need to, you can lower your knees and lower through Chaturanga or a push-up. Inhale, untuck your toes, draw your shoulder blades back and down for upward facing dog. From here, tuck your toes back under and send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. In down dog, you can pedal out your feet, move your hips side to side, move in a way that feels good and natural to you. If you're new to yoga, then by all means just have fun with this. Play around with it. Don't be too concerned with perfection right now. This is about exploring and discovering something new. From down dog, gaze between your hands and walk your way up to the front of your mat. Inhale, slide your fingertips up your shin, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold, let your head hang. Take a bend in the knees if your hamstrings are tight. On an inhale, reach your arms up overhead, reach up through your fingertips. Exhale, your hands down to your heart center. So let's move through that about 4 more rounds. Completely get lost in your body. Take any variations that you want to play around with. If you're not new to yoga, if this is familiar to you, then have fun with it. Otherwise, let's just get lost. I won't speak for the next few minutes, and I want you to immerse yourself in the flow. use the music to help bring you into that internal headspace where things just fade away from the outside. Focus on your breath, focus on your body. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. When you're ready, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Take your time. Take a few breaths in down dog. Find your stillness. From down dog, I want you to inhale and reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. From here, on an exhale, shift forward and bring your knee towards your nose. Gently step your foot between your hands and lower your back knee down. You can untuck your toes from here. And from this low lunge position, I want you to inhale, reach your hands up overhead for Kapiyasana or low lunge. And on an exhale, release your fingertips to the mat, straighten your front legs, send your hips back for a modified half splits. We're working the hamstring here. So think as long as you're feeling that tension in your hamstrings, you're feeling that stretch, that's what we want to achieve. Let's make that a bit of a flowing movement here. So bend into your front knee, inhale, reach your hands up overhead, Kapiyasana. Exhale, release your fingertips to the mat, straighten your front leg, send your hips back. Inhale, Kapiyasana. Exhale, straighten your front leg. About 3 more times. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Lift your chest. And on an exhale, straighten your front leg. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, half splits. And from here, let's reach our fingertips up one more time. Find Kapiyasana. And exhale, release your hands onto your front knee. So we'll come into a low lunge hold right now. Pause in this position and start to feel it. Notice what sensations you're feeling right now. The target area that we want to be stretching right now is our left hip flexor. So if you're feeling that stretch down your psoas, down your left hip flexor, then you're doing something right. And just pause and settle here. You can press into your front knee, draw your shoulders back, and just be here for a moment. Breathe and settle. As we move more into the yin component of this class, I'll talk a little bit more about what that means and how that's different to other styles of yoga. But for now, as we transition, we're going to be lengthening the amount of time and stillness in poses. Take a deep inhale, lift your chest a little bit more. Exhale, can you sink into your front leg a little bit more? Breathe and release. Take a deep inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Release your hands to the inside of your right foot and heel toe that right foot to the outer edge of your mat. From here, we're in a lizard lunge. So a couple of modifications you can make here to suit your body. You can stay up on your hands, and you can also decide where your toes are facing. They can face out in a diagonal, they can face directly forward. You can even roll onto the outer blade of that foot and let your knee open to the right. Whatever feels natural for your particular hip anatomy. We're all different in our skeletal anatomy, so we have to adapt these poses to our body. You can also decide to come on down onto your forearms if you're feeling nice and open, if that's accessible to you. And by all means, grab your yoga blocks if you need those too. Let's just pause and settle here for a moment. Our target area in this particular stretch is our outer right hip. So if you're feeling it there, then you're doing something right. Breathe and settle. Notice the sensations that you're feeling in your body right now. Take a few deep breaths. You can rock gently side to side if that feels good too. So as we move into these yin stretches, the main difference is that we hold poses for longer periods of time. In yin, we hold poses for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. And the intention is that we start to shift away from working just the muscles, and we start to affect the connective tissue, the ligaments, the fascia, and the bones. It takes a lot more time in poses to affect those particular areas. It's easy to work the muscle. It's a lot harder to start to affect those other types of tissues. When you're ready, let's start to make our way up onto our hands. Come back into the top of a lunge. You can heel toe that foot in slightly. Untuck your back toes and lift your back knee off the mat so we're in the top of a lunge. And let's step back to plank pose briefly. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, inhale your left foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. Step your left foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down, untuck your toes. Inhale, reach your fingertips up for Kapayasana. Exhale, release your fingertips to the mat, straighten your front leg. So we're working the left hamstring in that half split variation. Inhale, reach up, you know where to go from here. Exhale, half split, straighten your front leg. A few more times, inhale, reach up. Exhale, straighten your front leg, half splits. 3 more, inhale. Get lost in this movement. Last one. And let's pause in Kapayasana or low lunge. Bring your hands onto your front knee and start to settle. Make any little adjustments if you need to. We're stressing and stretching the right hip flexor or the right psoas in this particular pose. Breathe and release. Think of every exhale relaxing into your body, releasing the tension in your muscles. And that's how we move into a much deeper level of our practice and a deeper stretch that starts to affect the bones, the ligaments, the fascia, the connective tissue. When you're ready, release your hands onto your mat on the inside of your left foot and heel toe your left foot to the edge of your mat. Come into lizard lunge this time. So once again, take your variation that suits your body. For me, I'm going to angle my toes out to the left and roll onto the outer blade of my left foot. From here, come down onto your forearms if you choose. And lastly, find a comfortable position where you feel that working action on the outer left hip. I want you to feel a sensation, a stretch or a tension that feels like a gentle massage. It shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't be too intense. It should feel like a gentle, warm feeling that you want to experience on a deeper level. And breathe into that. Allow it to work deep into your muscles, deep into your fascia. Take a couple more slow, controlled breaths. When you're ready, make your way up onto your hands. Come back into the top of your lunge. Lift your back knee off the mat and step back to plank briefly. And from here, lower your knees down and sit back on your heels. From here, let's move into our first classical yin posture. I want you to grab your blanket. So it's important to have a comfortable seat because we'll be here for a few minutes, and that's going to be what we sit on. If you're extremely tight, you can sit on a couple of pillows, a bolster, or even place a couple of your yoga blocks underneath your blanket. But for me, I'm just going to sit on my blanket here. From this position, come into Baddha Konasana, the same variation we did at the start of the class. You can choose to draw your heels in towards your midsection. That'll help work the inner groin more. Or you can have it wider away from your midsection to help work the outer hips as opposed to the inner groins as much. From your Baddha Konasana or your butterfly pose, as they call it in yin, lift your chest, draw your shoulder blades back and down. And on an exhale, start to shift forward. And lastly, allow your chin to move towards your feet. You can bring your hands or your forearms onto the mat. And find this position where it gently works your target area, whether that's your inner groin or your outer hips. And gently start to release into it. Once you've found your position, fully relax. I'm going to put a timer on. And we'll be here for about 3 to 4 minutes. So this is our first classical yin posture. And what we're aiming to do is to really work the hip area. In yin, I mentioned before that we're trying to move away from working the muscles and to move into starting to affect the fascia, the connective tissue, the ligaments, and the bones. And after about 2 minutes in a particular stretch, that's when that starts to take place. It takes about 2 minutes to start to affect the fascia. The fascia is, you can think of this as this cling film that wraps every single muscle, every single organ in your body, and it keeps it in place. And it takes time to work it. It takes time to help it release. So this is such an important part of your stretching practice. If you're not working the fascia, you're missing out on a huge aspect of your body. So as we're here, think of releasing releasing any tension, releasing any muscular engagement, and just being. Quieten your mind. Return to your body. Focus on your breath. Find that deep sense of relaxation. When you're ready, we'll start to ease ourselves up and out of the pose. Straighten your arms, come up to a seated position, and lastly, place your soles of your feet on the mat. Have your knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Let your knees rock side to side in that windshield wiper to help release any tension that's built up. It's so important to do that when you exit yin stretches like that. You'll notice that it might feel a bit sensitive as you come out of the pose, and that's because we're working on such a deep level. Yin is a vulnerable practice. It takes your body into a place where it feels fragile. So just notice that you might feel that sense of sensitivity as you're in these stretches, and especially when you're coming out of them. Our next pose that we'll move into is called Dragonfly, and if you're tight, I would encourage you to sit on some more height. Maybe you fold your blanket one more time. That's what I will do. Or you might want to grab some pillows. When you're seated on your blanket, bring your legs out into a straddle. For those of you who are more flexible, you might be in almost a split position. For some of you like me who are a bit tighter, you'll be in a more shallow straddle. From here, you might just stay in this position. Otherwise, lastly, you can start to walk your fingertips forward and make your way down onto your forearms. We're starting to work the hamstrings in this particular position here. Once you've found your comfortable dragonfly pose, start to breathe and settle. If you need extra height, please go and grab that now. And lastly, deepen and focus on your breath. Completely surrender any muscular engagement here. Allow yourself to melt down. You can pile up some pillows and use that as a little bolster to keep yourself high and comfortable. So take whatever variation you need. Yin is about gentle, applied pressure over a long period of time. Think of it just as we have braces for our teeth to help move the bones. Braces apply gentle pressure over months, years. It's the same with Yin. We need to hold these poses for long periods of time, and we need to do it regularly. Start to ease yourself up and out of the pose. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Shift your blanket behind you and lie yourself down over onto your back briefly. Think of this as a quick reset in Shavasana. Notice any sensations that are arising. Breathe and settle. Complete surrender, complete relaxation. Hug both of your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And when you're ready, roll yourself on up to a seated position. Let's come into our next pose, pigeon or sleeping swan in yin. Move your blanket out of the way. If you like, you can actually open it out in front of you to help cushion your knee a little bit. Come into a brief down dog. And from here, I want you to bring your right knee towards your right wrist and your right foot over towards your left side of your mat. Come down into your pigeon pose from here. So a couple of modifications you can take. If you are someone who's got a lot of flexibility and range of motion in your hips, you can bring your shin to be parallel with the front of your mat. That's going to help you work in a lot more of an intense way. You can bring your heel in close to your midsection if you're someone who's a bit more tight. So play around with that. And lastly, come down onto your forearms if that's accessible to you. It's totally fine to be up on your hands. From here, breathe and settle. And lastly, make your way down into full sleeping swan, reclining down if that's accessible to you. So get yourself comfortable, set yourself up, take your time coming into this. It's important for you to be comfortable. I'm trying to minimize my talking so that you can enjoy this beautiful music. Use it to help bring you into a deeper state of relaxation. You should be feeling this in your outer right hip, maybe even your left hip flexor slightly. Take one more deep breath, slow and controlled. Start to ease yourself up and out of this side. Step back through a brief down dog. Pedal your feet out if you need to. Maybe you want to open your hip up and around to release that tension. And lastly, bring your left knee towards your left wrist and your left foot over to the right side of your mat. Come down into your opposite side. You know where to go from here. Make those adjustments to suit your body. Come on down into sleeping swan or pigeon pose. notice any sensations or emotions that come to the surface. I mentioned before that yin is a fragile practice and it can bring up a lot of emotion. When you are forced to be alone with your thoughts in a quiet space, a lot can come up. Your fascia is quite literally tied to your nervous system. If you go through a traumatic experience, your fascia will respond by tightening up and protecting the area. If it was an injury, your fascia is there to protect you and make sure that that same injury doesn't happen again. And as you start to release your fascia, it can release old traumas, whether that's physical or emotional. So just be aware of that if any of those emotions come up. There's a scientific reason behind the releasing of old trauma through your fascia. So just be aware of that. Start to ease yourself up. Come through your brief downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. Roll your left hip open and closed. And lower onto your knees. Sit back on your heels and move your blanket or any props out of the way for now. Let's lie ourselves over onto our back for Shavasana. Grab any props that you might need. Make yourself comfortable here. So if you've got a blanket and you want to cover yourself, go ahead and do that. If you want a pillow, grab that. Just make yourself as comfortable as you need to be. Lie yourself down. Move any props out of the way that you aren't using. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Allow your feet to roll over to the outer edges of your mat. Slightly tuck your chin towards your chest to help lengthen the back of your neck and make that airflow nice and fluid through your throat into your lungs. Lastly, start to deepen your breath. Find a deep sense of surrender. Everything melts down towards the mat. Shavasana is one of the most challenging poses for everyone because it requires us to work the mind, not just the body. We can't escape the mind in Shavasana. So we can use things like music or our breath to help pull us away from the distractions of the outside world. Any disturbances, whether that's an argument you had, somebody who cut you off on the road, or some stresses that are going on in your life. Shavasana is a time for us to remove ourselves from those distractions so that we're able to just be with our body and our mind in this empty state of deep relaxation. Start to bring the awareness back. Move your fingers, your thumbs, your toes. And deepen your breath. In your own time, roll yourself over onto your right side. Use your arm as a pillow. And just be here for a moment. When you're ready, press yourself up into a seated position. Keep your eyes closed and bring your hands into heart center. Lift your chest, draw your shoulders back. Keep your spine nice and long still. I just want to share my deep gratitude to Chad for sharing his amazing music for this class. I really hope that you've enjoyed it and it's helped to bring you into a deep state of relaxation. I'll include all of the links to his music and where you can find him below, so if you want to enjoy his music later on, you can. Otherwise, thank you so much for doing this yin class with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you will be inspired to explore more yoga classes, whether that's yin or my other styles that I teach. I have plenty of classes on my YouTube channel, so please check those out. Subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. Namaste.